as you can see here that each and every column which we created is equally divided. But what if you want a specific column to take around 85% of the width or 75% of the width, and you want the second column to take around 25% of the width? So basically this is going to be a width of around 75% and this is going to be around 25%. So let's see how we can do that. So first thing what I'm going to do is I'm going to get back to my code and I'm going to get rid of the entire container here. So let me get rid of this one. Okay, I'm going to create a new container. I'm going to call this as container, and inside this I'm going to say div.row, and inside this I'm going to say div.call. Okay, so this is basically what we did. Now what we need is we need two columns. So I'm just going to duplicate this. Okay, so we have two columns. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add div.box inside that. Now this is what we exactly did in the previous class, but here what we're going to do is we're going to resize them. Okay, so let's get back to our browser. Let's hit refresh, and you can see that they are equally divided. Now I want the first one to be the 75% of the length. So let's get back to our code here, and here what I'm going to do is I'm going to add -8, and here I'm going to add -4. Let me save this, and if I get back to my browser here, let's hit refresh. Now you can see that the first column is taking 75% of the width and the second column is taking only 25% of the width. Now this is happening because your columns, your grid system is basically divided into 12 columns. Okay, your grid system is basically divided into 12 columns. So if you add this up, we have 8 columns and then we have 4 columns. So if you add this up, you get 12 columns. So what we are doing here is we are taking the exact size what we need here and we are specifying the remaining size for the second column. So if you do this, we get something like this. So let's just say I want another row where I need 25% of the column to be taken by the first column, and the second one has to take around 50% and the other one has to take 25%. So let's see how we can do that. Let's get back to our code, and after this row I'm going to create another row, div.row, and here I'm going to say div.call. Okay, so basically we need 3 columns. Okay, so the first one is going to be call hyphen, I'm going to set this to 3, and I'm going to set this one to call -3. Okay, so if you calculate this, now we have 3 and 3, that is 6, right? So if you minus 6 from 12, the remaining column size what we have is 6. So I'm just going to click over here and add 6. Now if you calculate this, we have 3 plus 6 is 9, and again when we add 3 to it, that becomes 12 grid column. So let me save this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the box inside this just to make it more clear. So I'm going to just paste it over here. I'm going to add another one over here and another here. Okay, let's save this. Let's get back to our browser. Let's hit refresh. I can see that it has taken the 25% of this particular column, that is the first column, then it takes the 50% of this one, and then again 25% of this one.